I think I would describe myself in a number of ways. I think I would describe myself as the CEO and founder of a social change agency, a sister, a daughter, I think a passionate advocate of social change. Family is really important to me. My father actually died 2 weeks ago. I think it's really amplified the importance of family, and in quite an amazing, really precious kind of way, actually. There are so many strong women in my family. The person, though, that comes to mind most immediately when I think about that is my mother, Rosemary, who deeply believes in fairness, equity for everybody. She just has this innate sense of social justice, and growing up, that was such a powerful image to have. And to be honest, when I was younger, I probably struggled with that a little bit, because I came home one day and she'd been arrested protesting about the Springbok tour. And so that was the first time I think it's the only time my mother's been arrested, but it was a very defining moment. But that story, if you like, has really stayed with me. And I remember when, Nelson Mandela was freed, and he talked about the fact that one of the things that gave him courage on the other side of the world was to know that this little country called New Zealand, people were protesting and standing up for this notion of a fair society to end apartheid. And I thought, oh my gosh, my mother was one of those people, and she helped to change the world. She helped to change the course of history. When I was 15, I was diagnosed with a congenital sight condition. That means I don't have vision in the centre of both of my eyes. So everything I look at in the world is quite blurry and sort of sparkly, actually. It's quite pretty in some ways. And it has also deeply shaped my experience of the world. But I think one of the big challenges in the world still, whether it is as a woman, whether it's as someone with an access need, whatever the identity might be, I think for each of us not falling into the pattern of placing people in limiting boxes. How amazing if we could create a world where we actually focused on what people could do and be in the world. And it's an individual challenge for each of us. And it's also a collective societal challenge, I believe. There is something that's quite unique about my experience in the world as someone who is both female and identifies strongly as a person who has an access need. And so I think that feminism and how that looks and feels as we move into the 21st century must represent deeply that complexity so that we can fully embrace each person as a full individual. And I think New Zealand must deeply embed and honour and treasure those values of true equity. It's been an amazing day. No offence to the 3 boys, but gosh, it was so lovely having essentially an all-women crew. Just every aspect has just been an absolute delight. So I've absolutely loved it. I think it's an amazing project. And I really hope New Zealand gets behind and really acknowledges actually, the importance of Kate Sheppard and the suffrage movement.